and welcome to your Macs Podcast Now. And what stupid patent infringements is the tech community whining about this week? Well, for starters, Apple had patented the design element of sliding to unlock a device. So, does every Android device or Windows 8 device now infringe on this Apple patent? Technically, yes. But does that mean Apple is really going to be using this patent to sue everyone and anyone who uses a slide in their touchscreen design? Thomas Carey, a partner at Sunstein, a major intellectual property law firm, said that if Apple were to sue someone with this patent, it would be our pals in Redmond. After all, quote, Apple has had its innovations ripped off by Microsoft for years, so you would surely expect them to start seeking patent protection for their innovations, end quote. Next up, Samsung has taken Apple to court over the iPhone 4S, claiming that the device infringes on 3 Australian patents held by Samsung. 1. Method and apparatus for transmitting and receiving packet data using a predefined length indicator in a mobile communication system, or WCDMA. Number 2. Method and apparatus for data transmission in a mobile telecommunication system supporting enhanced uplink service, or HSPA. Number 3. Method and apparatus for transmitting and receiving data with high reliability in a mobile communication system supporting packet data transmission. Once again, HSPA. The company admitted that it was only letting Apple know of the supposed infringement through the lawsuit itself rather than trying to negotiate a license first. Apple counsel Cameron Moore argued that these patents fall under the standards for 3G set by the International Standards Body in partnership with the European Telecommunications Standard Institute. Globally, Samsung had agreed to license these patents on fair, reasonable, and non-discriminatory terms, and that on this ground, he believes that Samsung should be seeking only license fees from Apple in the form of damages. And finally, VernetX, frequently labeled as a patent troll, launched one of its more aggressive attacks by suing Apple over a patent that had only just been granted that very day. The company alleged that at least current iOS devices and line-equipped Macs were violating some claims of a patent for, quote, a method for establishing secure communication link between computers, a virtual private network. In other words, a standard VPN connection. The patent had been granted just that day, suggesting that VernetX's aim is to hit the Silicon Valley Powerball. Maybe we need 2 shovels to get through all this. From now until the end of 2011, Londoners will be able to use high-speed service in certain parts of the city, courtesy of Sprint. If the 2-month trial is deemed a success, the Finnish company plans to turn it into a fully fledged free Wi-Fi service early in 2012. Nokia has set up 26 hotspots to support the service, largely concentrated around West End shopping areas. Victoria, Marylebone, and Westminster will also get access points. The firm said people would not need to register or sign in to use the Wi-Fi. Quote, the trial is going to help us understand what people are using it for so we can improve it in the future, end quote, said Craig Hepburn, Nokia's director of digital and social media. Wi-Fi is already free widely about London. In particular, London's financial district, the Square Mile, has had free Wi-Fi provided by the cloud for years. There are also talks to put Wi-Fi on London tube stations so passengers can browse the web while they wait for a train. And there is a plan to provide free Wi-Fi in and around London for the 2012 Olympics to help visitors and tourists find their way around and to make it easier for the sights and sounds of the games to be shared. And now let's speak of the dawning of the Tim Cook era at Apple. He's trying to steer Apple away from the darker side of things. In the roughly 2 weeks since Cook took over as CEO, Apple has experienced at least 2 huge defining moments. 1, a successful launch of the iPhone 4S, and 2, of course, the passing of Steve. For example, while thinking up all things Jobs made a lot of money for both himself and Apple, but since Cook took over as CEO, Apple's philanthropy arm, which Jobs had closed down after returning as CEO in 1997, now matches employee donations to nonprofits of up to $10,000 a year. Now, Jobs was not known to be warm and fuzzy, shall we say, but Cook has taken a different tactic, it seems. Cook has been more communicative with employees than his predecessor, even sending a variety of company-wide emails that address Apple employees as team. And Jobs was more of a product designer than a CEO. But now that Apple's got a boatload of cash, $81.6 billion to be exact, which is pretty much what I got in my account, Cook is looking at things from a traditional CEO perspective. Cook seems open to more traditional options for Apple's cash hoard, such as dividends or a buyback, say people have access to such information. Since Cook is a CEO guy, that also means that he's not a product guy. And of course, it was Jobs' product guy swag that pushed Apple to the top. So, will Apple continue to amaze us? Yeah, I think it's a fair bet. There's a whole lot of talent out there in Cupertino. Truth triumphs fiction! Okay, Netflix, see if you can top this one. A performance artist who said giving birth is the highest form of art has delivered a baby boy inside a New York art gallery. Marnie Kotak gave birth at the Microscope Gallery in Brooklyn. The gallery said 19 to 20 people were present for the relatively quick birth in a birthing pool. A video of the birth will be added to the gallery's upcoming exhibition, and no doubt will, within a couple hours, show up on YouTube. The 36-year-old artist had set up a home birth center at the gallery, turning the space into a brightly decorated bedroom with ocean blue walls and photo-imprinted pillows. During the Birth of Baby X durational piece, which began October 8th, Kotak spent as much time at the gallery as possible, talking to visitors about motherhood, art, and other issues. She said those who left their contact information would be notified when she went into labor. Kotak, who was born in Norwood, Massachusetts, said all her performances focus on everyday life experiences. She has been reenacting events from her life for more than 10 years, including her own birth, losing her virginity in the back of a sunny blue Plymouth, and her grandfather's funeral. I wonder if this will make ESPN's highlight reel tonight. And that's all this week in the Magic Apple Kingdom, boys and girls. I could kick myself. I passed up on the refurb Mac Mini of my dreams, completely pimped out, and I kept saying, you gotta pull the trigger. That's what I always tell people. You see it, it's what you want, pull the trigger because someone else will buy it. I left the dinner I was at. By the time I got home 2 hours later, it was gone. Lucky me. Aren't I smart? Well, anyhow, this has been the man behind the microphone reminding you to download, double-click, and drop out.